Hey, what's going on, guys? Devin here with Backcountry Exposure. I just returned from an overnight cold weather backpacking trip, and I'm doing a collaboration on this video that happens to be about cold weather backpacking and how we stay warm in the backcountry when we are out backpacking in cold weather. So there are a lot of channels that are participating in this particular collaboration. So all of the channels are linked down below in the description. So check them out because there's potential to be a lot of really good information if you are looking to spend time in the backcountry in the cold and figure out some different tips and tricks and ways for you to stay a little bit warmer in the backcountry. So I'm going to share with you 3 things that work for me that I feel like are probably a little bit different than what most everybody else in this collaboration is going to talk about, because I want to be a little more methodical, a little more, step back and be a little bit more thoughtful of things that really truly make a difference in your experience than just here's one simple thing that you can do while you're sleeping that makes you sleep a little bit warmer or that kind of stuff. So the first thing to talk about is campsite selection. So important in how much warmer your experience in the backcountry can be. If you are choosing a good place to camp, then you are almost guaranteeing yourself that you will have a way better backcountry experience, because we all know that hot air rises and cold air sinks, right? So knowing that, a lot of times we find ourselves like, ooh, there's a water source, let's camp next to that water source. But very often, a water source in a creek is down in the low part of a valley, and there's usually great camping that's over in those areas. But because you are down in the lowest part of the valley, then you are definitely going to have a colder night of sleep and an experience in that campsite than if you were to do a little bit more planning ahead of time and choose sites that may be less than ideal, but still have access to a water source, but allow you to be up where the warmer air is and not down in those really cold areas. So campsite selection will make such a difference in ensuring that you have a better and warmer outdoor cold weather experience. The second thing to talk about is just good hydration and good nutrition when you go out into the backcountry. This is a smart thing to focus on regardless of what season it is, but with winter and cold weather, you really still have to be very smart about hydrating and drinking enough fluids and enough water that allows you to keep your body hydrated. So the thing about hydrating in the cold weather is you may not be sweating as much, but you are still likely exerting as much energy as you would be if you are sweating a lot just because it's hot outside. And your body relies on hydration to keep itself warm. It regulates temperature a lot better and a lot easier if you are intaking fluids and you are just feeding your body what it naturally needs. And a lot of times we don't stay as warm because we are not feeling like we're exerting a bunch of energy, but we are covering ourselves in a bunch of layers. Your body is not breathing as well, and just all of those factors come into play that make a difference in how much warmer your body is. So make sure you stay hydrated. Feed yourself with really good food so that you've got the calories and that energy is being burned and that creates warmth. All of those things are super important. The third thing to talk about is to make smart gear choices. A lot of times what I see people talk about, like on Facebook groups or just like questions that I get, are how do I take my 40-degree bag and sleep out in really cold temperatures with that? What can I do to modify it? And I feel like even though it's going to cost you money, and I'm not necessarily saying that, well, in order for you to go 4-season backpacking, you have to spend all this money, but I am saying that you do need to think about the gear that you have and make smart gear choices so that when you go out in 4-season settings, you are allowing yourself to have a guaranteed good experience. For example, a quality sleeping pad and a quality 4-season sleeping bag is going to make such a difference in your overall experience in the backcountry, as well as a proper layering system when you are both sleeping, but also out and about in that cold weather, in the elements. And so it's not just, well, I need to have this big, massive down coat for me to have a really warm type of experience. Yes, that is going to help, but because you're going to experience fluctuations in temperature throughout the day, maybe the sun comes out for a little bit, having a really heavy down jacket on is going to overheat you. It's going to be harder to stay hydrated. And if I can regulate temperature based off of having several different layers, that is going to make so much difference and make staying warmer a lot easier, because I can take care of what my body needs based off of maybe it's super windy or it's sunny or it's a blizzard out there, whatever it is. A layer system, making smart choices about your layer system is really important. So you've got a rain jacket, you've got a soft shell, you've got some kind of hard shell, whatever it is. Like, it needs to work for your budget and for your environment. But just having smart choices in your gear will make such a difference. And to go back to sleeping bags for a second, this is the UGQ Bandit Top Quilt. This is a 0 degree bag. And investing in something like this for cold weather use is going to be a really good option, as opposed to carrying the bulk of maybe a 20 degree quilt and then adding a liner to it. I would rather use the layering system and have maybe one extra layer that I may not need, but will help me sleep a little bit better if I carry just a lightweight fleece or just some kind of additional layer that isn't as bulky or as heavy as adding like another down blanket, like a little down throw that you can get from Costco or that kind of thing. And so I feel like for your sleep system, investing in that will make such a difference in your overall experience in cold weather, as opposed to trying to modify 3-season gear that you use in the summer to say, well, this is how I want to enjoy cold weather backpacking, and hoping that it works. The other thing about gear is you've got to test it. Before you go out and use it in the backcountry, spend some time in your backyard in the cold overnight and see how it works for you, and then make adjustments before you go and take it out into the backcountry. So guys, that's just some really quick thoughts, and would be curious to know what you have been doing for staying warm in the backcountry when it is cold. And definitely check out the other channels that are participating in this collaboration. Lots of good information to come out of it. And hopefully this is a little bit different type of discussion than just little quick tips and tricks of how people stay warm in the backcountry. And this makes an overall long-term impression on how you can enjoy being out in the cold a lot better.